Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Maybe you're not the worst thing ever.
Welcome to Maybe It's Not the Worst Podcast Ever, a Gallivant podcast. Season 1, Episode 1 and 2, Pilot and Joust Friends. I am your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is...
Martha Southgate.
And...
Olivia Richards.
And...
Rob Southgate.
How did you get kicked to the end?
I tried to kick him to the curb, but he came back.
So in this episode, I am the last to go. You like that?
You are kicked to the end.
Yeah, well, apparently we're not writing musicals around here.
No, thankfully.
So, what are we talking about here?
Except for the time we sang to the tune of Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
Yes, but licensing will stop us from doing that. I am positive. So, okay, let me set it up here. This show is the I don't call it a mid-season. What would you call this? Or is it a mid-season show? It's the break between...
I'd call it a mini-series.
Well, it's a mini-series, but it's between the two seasons, or the mid-season, I can't get this one out, of Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of ties together. So that's why we're doing it on Ever After, the Once Upon a Time podcast. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it is Monty Python meets Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, it's a great description of the show.
It really is. Well, when you start looking at the people involved, I mean, like... You can see how it got to this point. And when we were watching that first episode, we've now seen it 3 times, the first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. When we watched it the first time...
No one's going to be able to tell that, though, because we're so bad.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's going to seem like we barely even watched it once.
Yeah, right. But when we watched it the first time, in the beginning, I just kept thinking, oh, it's kind of like Shrek or, it's that same story. But I am completely enamored with this. And I don't know why. I usually am not into musicals, but I am loving it.
Well, you're loving it because it's Monty Python.
Yes.
And you love Monty Python.
Yes. And I'm hoping a giant guy explodes because he's had one too many wafer-thin mints. That's what I'm waiting for.
I couldn't eat another bite. Well, okay, so some interesting things to note. This is entirely filmed in the UK. And it's the first U.S. broadcast pilot to film in the UK, much less for us to have a whole show film there.
Really?
Yeah, they've done something with their tax status or something to allow, because they're trying to get filmmakers to come there. So they give them these tax breaks.
Wow.
So but it really lends itself to the setting. And I think if it was filmed here, it would seem fake.
Yeah, well,
cheesy.
That's one thing. Whenever there's a period piece, it always seems like they're shooting this in the mountains of Northern California.
Yeah.
This one does not seem that way. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that. I just kept
looked
thinking,
it up.
I wonder where they're shooting this. That's cool.
Yeah, I looked it up
because
I thought it was just, the setting is so amazing on this show, and I thought, well, I wonder where they're doing it. A lot of times you'll see Australia or New Zealand, or you'll see various places, usually Vancouver, Canada. So I was really surprised to see that it was filmed in the UK. But the other thing.
No, I wonder if they shot in an actual castle.
They're using a film. I didn't write down the name of the company, the studios that they're filming at, but then they go out on location. So yeah, I have a feeling they have access to everything there, medieval castles, etc. So I would think that they would take advantage of that. But I also, Molly and I talk mostly throughout the show about the costumes. And so I looked up, and a woman named Charlotte Mitchell has been sort of their primary costume designer. But it turns out that she did 3 episodes of Doctor Who.
What?
Oh, that's awesome.
What
So
did she do?
She did Turn Left, she did Blink, and she
Yes.
did Love and Monsters.
Yes, those
She
are
did
great.
14 episodes of Torchwood. So for all of our
So she did most of the Torchwood.
Doctor Who fans out there, and so I thought that was because I was trying to see what else she had worked on, and it said she really specializes in the medieval costuming. So
Very cool. Oh, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
in case you ever need medieval costuming. So, so that's just kind of those 2 things I thought really needed to be talked about on here because the setting and the costumes are so important to the show.
Well, and I think that things like the show creator and the music are going to overshadow so much of that. It's good to kind of get that out and talk about that because all around, when you start reading about this, it seems like everybody involved in this production is the right person.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody from Once Upon a Time was working on this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I know somebody from Ever After was working on this. I mean, this podcast.
Yeah.
3 people.
Yeah. One of these people's not like the other. Poor Olivia, not on Ever After.
Yeah, the outsider.
One
So,
of
Olivia,
these
I got a
people
question.
Is not like the other 3.
I have a question. You now, are you reviewing this for show ratings?
I'm gonna do a short write-up or possibly just an overview once the episodes come to a wrap at the end, because I just wanted to kind of reflect on the episodes that we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that, aside from we love podcasting with you and you're part of our group, the reason you're on this is you are in love with this show. Spoiler, Olivia loves this show.
Dun, 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 surprise!
Yeah, we were watching it and Martha said, "Oh, Olivia has to be dying."
Or we should do it more like surprise.
You're doing a little Doctor Who now.
No.
There you go. I'm
That's
twirling my
fun.
mustache.
Oh,
right.
Once Upon a Time, yes.
You know, that was on when Anna said the surprise thing.
No, I don't remember.
Like we should do
Now
a
that
trade
Gallivant's
for,
in my
like,
head, it's pushed a whole
surprise.
bunch of Once Upon a Time out of my head.
Oh.
There's only so much room
Should
in
I
there.
squeeze more out
Yeah, ew, gross.
quietly
Quiet.
so it doesn't show up.
Yes. So, Olivia, I'm asking you about.
Took a sudden turn.
It really did. What
It went
happened there?
Yeah, it did go.
So you are obviously loving it. Now, are you somebody who, I think I already know the answer. Are you somebody who's into like musicals, or is it more the Disney thing? What is it?
It's everything, because I love Broadway. I love Broadway musicals, but this kind of took like the idea of a Broadway musical, put it on a TV show, and put it spin with Disney, because it has Alan Menken, who is like the Disney god of all of these, like all the songs that we love, from, like Beauty and the Beast and just everything.
He did Aladdin. He did Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So like when you hear the actual songs, like they're so brilliantly written. So again, like it just takes that like larger than life feel of Broadway and puts, you know, just the silliness and the child, the childlike nature of Disney, and it just combines the two, and it just makes for like a magnificent viewing experience for the show.
Yeah, it is.
And a touch of Monty Python, because it's a little
It's
dirty.
a little dirty.
It is. I love that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like the first sentence, you know, like it's like right out of the box. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And luckily, a lot of it I think would go over a kid's head, you know, so it's not in your face dirty, but there's a lot of innuendo and and some of it's blatant, but
oh yeah,
yeah,
but a lot of it's just innuendo. But oh my gosh, I am so in love with Gallivant.
Me too.
He is a beautiful man.
Oh, I thought you meant the show.
No, him.
Oh, I meant the show.
Ollie, those eyes.
I thought it was the cheekbones. Isn't that what they talk about on the show?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I had to say there.
That's it. Olivia, are you enjoying Gallivant yourself?
I am, but I love how they took like the dreamy night thing and they kind of ran it in the opposite direction, where he just drinks a lot and like lays around and gets fat and has to retrain himself.
Yeah, I love what he's like. Yep, I put on 20 pounds. Like, yep, that's about right.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I was getting kind of the Shrek vibe because he kind of has that where it's like, oh, I'm going to order a drink, and he's sitting there eating and all this. Like, he ordered all that on her dime. He's like burping. He's kind of Shrekish.
Oh yeah, he's totally crass and everything. But yeah, mm-hmm.
Well, and I know that attracts you.
It does. Well, look who I picked up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Look, take a real close look.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually I'll turn into that Prince Charming.
Oh, I'm not holding my breath there, but yeah, he's at least, cute. No offense.
Ouch.
Oh,
No.
Hey, maybe
You're
I'm not the worst
cute.
thing ever.
But he's pretty. You're not pretty. No offense. Let's talk a little bit about the actors. Rob, do you have anything about the actors that we?
Why, yes, I do. Actually, what I did was I was looking through to see who was playing what and if we knew them from anywhere. And there were a couple that actually I was surprised by because I didn't recognize them. But now that I know, I can't unsee who they are. First of all, Gallivant himself is Joshua Sassy. Is that how you say his name? Or Sass?
Sassy, something like that.
You know what? You could say Joshua Sass, which is,
Joshua's ass.
But he was on. Now here's what's interesting. He only has a few credits. He was in the movie Frankenstein's Army. So right away, I'm like, yes, this guy is awesome. Okay. He's got a new show coming out called Rogue. Don't know what that is. I'm sure, Olivia, you'll be doing a pilot roundtable about that. Yep. He was on the show Neighbors. Did anyone watch the show Neighbors?
I didn't, no.
To be literal, the Neighbors.
Yeah, The Neighbors, yes. It's the one where the neighbors are aliens or something. It's supposed to be really funny. Well, when I saw that, I've never seen it or whatever, but I did notice there's a thread. A lot of people involved in this, writers. In fact, I think the showrunner, I think Dan Fogelman was involved with Neighbors. Yeah, he was. That was his show.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm seeing, threads there. Timothy Amundsen, who is my favorite on the show right now.
Yes, me too.
The Squire.
No, King Richard.
Oh, King Richard's my favorite.
He makes the show.
He is
brilliant.
On fire on this show. He's so good. I kept thinking, how do I know this guy? Something seemed familiar. Then I read, he's the guy, he's like the police, the cop, or I'm sorry, the detective on Psych. Olivia, do you watch Psych?
I don't watch Psych.
Okay.
We only watched a few seasons, so I'm not.
We
really
did, and
who he is.
You know what? As soon as you'd see him on Psych, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, he plays a very straight-laced cop. Very different character in this. He doesn't have a beard or anything." But now that I see him, I can't unsee it. He was also on the show Jericho, which we've never seen. Judging Amy, I don't even know what that is. But he was on Xena. And he was on Sequest, which was only on one season. It was a Roy Scheider show. I watched every episode of Sequest. So Timothy Amundsen is from that. Vinnie Jones was my big surprise. I didn't know he was in the show. He plays Gareth. And big thing with him, he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He's been in just tons of stuff. He's on Arrow this season. But he was the Juggernaut in X-Men.
Yes. Oh my God. I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
So that's what it was. Yeah. He is. I can't believe they've got this guy who's, he's really a palooka. You can tell he is in real life too.
Just a thug. A thug.
A thug, right. On this, well, you know what? I'm from the 30s, so I'm calling him a palooka.
Palooka? I don't know.
What even is a palooka?
I don't know. I've been reading a lot of Popeye lately. But he having him singing and dancing is killing me.
It's hysterical.
It is so funny.
Where it's a face that he puts on, like,
yeah, it's so good.
Funny.
Mallory Jensen is Madalena. I have no idea.
She looks so familiar.
You know what? She does, but when I looked at her credits, she's not on anything I recognized. Young and Hungry is a show from 2014. I don't know what it is. And Baby Daddy is a new show coming out. So, but she's great on this. And then Karen David has no credits that I recognized. She's Isabella. And then we get to the one that I really can't unsee. Luke Youngblood is playing Sid the Squire. Anything else he's done, he's been in various things. A lot of these people have various TV credits, but he's Magnitude from Community.
Oh my God, I was so waiting for everyone to make that reference because I was just thinking every time he comes on, I just want to yell out pop, pop.
Oh my gosh. Well, I couldn't figure out what I knew him from, and I kept watching it, and I'm like, he's so distinct looking, and I'm like, there's gotta be something. As soon as I saw Magnitude, I'm like, oh, this guy's the best. And then we had a guest appearance by John Stamos, which
he's hysterical.
Was great. which was great. Him throwing up in the suit of armor was a
Yeah.
highlight. But the best part is, did you catch what his name is?
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Oh,
But it's Jean Ham. I thought that was hilarious.
It's 13 Ham.
No, it's not.
No.
They keep saying it. 13
No.
Ham.
Sir Jean Ham.
Sir Jean Ham.
Okay.
oh, it's fantastic. I
Then
totally
why
went
do
over my
they keep
head.
showing the 13 Ham?
I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, putting your hands up like that, it works great on a podcast. Excellent.
Who knows? I'm doing the.
So yeah, the other thing, as long as we're going through it, the creator was Dan Fogelman. Who
I always want to say Dan Fogelberg, but that
right, I
really
know you do,
ages me.
but yeah, Olivia and Molly don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
The writer of Crazy Stupid Love, which is a movie I know you love. I thought it was Love Actually, which is a movie I don't love. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this show. But then when I was just reading this, I'm like, oh, that's why I like it. I thought that was a good movie. And then he did Tangled and Cars and The Guilt Trip and Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hated Neighbor. Wait, no.
No, Neighbors the TV show, not that movie.
Again.
Yeah, the movie, the one with Seth Rogen and I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio or
Not
whatever that came out last
James
year.
Franco.
Yeah, that wasn't good. But the TV show. So, and then the other thing is, that Menken is listed obviously for all the Disney stuff, but this Christopher Leonards is also doing the music. He must be doing the instrumentals and the theme music. This guy has a huge resume too. He's done so many shows, and he's the music guy on Agent Carter right now. Which the music on Agent Carter is fantastic. So once again, big pedigree on this show.
And once we get through all this, we can actually talk about the show, but we won't need to go. But it's just, I think it's interesting to hear some of the background for who's working on the show and what the actors have done and whatever. But eventually we'll get to the actual show, right?
Yeah, right. Now, did this show come out of nowhere for you guys? Because we kept seeing the previews where they just sing and it wasn't catching me. But now that I know so much about it, I'm like, wow, this is something that we would have wanted to watch. I mean, there's so many good people involved.
I had not heard of it until you guys turned it on the one day. I didn't know what to expect or what it was. But the thing that I find interesting is we're around a lot of kids, a lot of families. Not one of them that I have asked so far has seen the show.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, so they're all going to start watching now because I told them what it was like, and now they all want to watch it. But I don't think that their commercials did it justice because it didn't get people to actually tune in.
Yeah.
No, I was watching the promos and they were so short. So all I remember was just them singing about Gallivant, but that you didn't really see much about what the show was going to be about or what the tone of the show was going to be. And then I watched the pilot.
Gallivant.
Yeah, that's what they would show.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then and it looked like it was a cheesy comedy. It wasn't like, wow, this is a funny movie. If you like these Disney movies and you like Shrek, you're gonna like this. If they had pulled that together a little bit better, I think it would have captured us more. But I'm just
we're
glad
here
watched
though.
it.
Yeah,
right. But think of all the people we know that aren't watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Even with our podcasters, just talking to all the various people, and that most of them aren't watching.
Mm.
I have friends that
Except
I
Olivia,
that would
we knew
like
she'd be
and
there.
Stuff.
Obviously.
I have friends that would like it.
Yes.
Oh, they would love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's and the parents would like it as much as the kids because it's so funny. And truly, anybody who likes Monty Python would love this.
Oh yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, yeah, I think it serves a wide audience. But
well, and I also think, speaking of, I mean, this is, I guess, the only negative part of the podcast is the way they marketed it.
Yeah.
I think they did a real disservice by not promoting the song "Worst Thing Ever." Maybe you're not the worst thing ever. I think that if
there's the best song in the whole thing, that's
was
why
great.
our podcast is named after it.
Right. And I think if they had done something to hype the music part of it a little bit more, even releasing a few songs before it happened, even though that was shocking, you saw it, you're just like, oh my gosh, it was so funny. I don't know. I think maybe post-marketing that stuff, like as soon as the show airs, boom, those videos go viral. That would be the way to do it because people don't know these songs are great. This is hilarious.
No, exactly. And like even out of context, like if you just listen to the song, like in context, it's hilarious just watching the scene play along with it. But even if you just like sat down and like listened to the song, you would just be hooked. You'd want to know like where it fit in the show.
Yeah, exactly. Now I was reading an interesting thing talking about the next 2 weeks coming up.
Okay.
Okay, spoiler. We're doing this after the second week has already aired. So the next 2 weeks being the third and fourth weeks, the last 2 weeks of it. And they've said that what it said is if you thought Next Thing Ever was a great song, there are 2 songs coming up that are as good or
Worst
better.
Thing Ever,
not next thing. Yeah, whatever. But it said that there's a couple of songs coming up that are actually as good or better than that one.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's something else. I'm looking forward to see what that is because there were good ones this week. There have been good ones every episode.
Very, very funny.
Yeah. So should we talk about the episode? What happens in it?
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Kind of the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So who wants to go? Who wants to kind of tell the story of the pilot?
Well, I don't think we necessarily need to do that. Let's just talk about some of our favorite things.
Joust friends.
Yes. Okay.
One of the first things that happened that was that I thought was funny was when he was after Madalena was
I suggest
kidnapped.
Oh wow! Oh look, he's here! It's him! And bonk, and he just puts the
What?
guard.
What are you talking about?
Well, let her say it. Go ahead.
When the guards are like, "Oh my gosh, it's Galvan," and then Galvan just went boom.
Yeah.
And they just fell down.
Oh yeah, right.
And then to the one guy, he said, "I suggest you fall."
You're talking about when he first showed up, when he went to rescue.
He went to storm the castle to go save Madalena.
Right.
And he was fighting his way in.
And he was so good, they just fell as he walked by.
Well, no, he was taking him out, but then the last guy was standing there and he was just in awe that it was Gallivant. And Gallivant looks at him and says, "I suggest you fall." And the guy just fell down.
Right.
But everybody else that he just spoke down, sort of.
Yeah.
And then when the chef came in and he had Molly loved the snack, right, Mal?
Yeah. Bang, bang, bang. Like, that's what it said. Like,
his cart was real clangy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that was really funny, too, when the king looks at him and he says, there was somebody else, he looked just like you, but he was a little older, and, he's like, "Oh, that was my dad." "Oh, yeah, what happened to him?" You executed him." That doesn't sound like me.
Right.
You killed the 4 generations of chefs in my family.
You're right.
It's not a great job. I am such a bully.
Yeah.
You must understand I was under pressure.
Yeah, it's so funny. Well, the dialogue is just so great. And I do love the casting on the chef. Because at first I was like, okay, are they just using him because he's, they've made him look especially odd here, but he's a good actor. He's been really good in this role. I think he's been very funny, and of course, Vinnie Jones has been killing me.
He's hysterical.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mel?
Oh yeah, when the chef goes like his dancing is hysterical.
Yeah, his dancing is really good.
And so he brought in this big platter of food, and he says, "This is your midday snack." And man,
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And it was all meat.
Yes.
And I loved that the bar was called Ye Horses Ours.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was very clever. And
how we would say it is the horse's ass.
Oh, thank
you for translating that.
You're in timeout.
And now it's time for an explicit rating. And we all thought it would be me that would swear first on here.
So when Gallivant was in the bar and he's trying to get more to drink, and the bartender says, "You're embarrassing yourself," and he says, "I'm embarrassing yourself." But anybody else? What do you guys have?
Well, for favorite moments, I mean, if you talk about in the pilot.
Yeah, I'm just on the pilot at the moment.
It really, the highlights seem to be centered around the songs for me.
So
on first viewing, it wasn't my favorite, but on the subsequent viewings, when the king sings and he does this little dance, and It kills me.
Is that the song where he says, I want to shoot him with a crossbow?
Yes,
Yes.
where he wants to kill Gallivant. It's
Yeah.
I want
really
to
funny.
shoot him with the crossbow.
Yeah.
I
don't know if it was the strongest song
want to
necessarily.
poke him in the eye.
But the more I've watched it, the more I've enjoyed it. Molly, you got it memorized, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, that to me that was a real standout in the pilot. And then in the second part, in the Joust, John Hamm throwing up in the
it
metal
was
armor.
It was like
and then
yellow liquid.
it was so gross. And then the actual Joust, it's like in slow motion.
Come on. That was the funniest thing of all time.
And then when they fall down, the horses just walk
Yeah, they
away.
just walk away. And it comes down to, okay, whoever can get up first.
Right.
It just, that to me was so funny. And that's another thing that in the preview, they showed them doing this Joust. It didn't seem funny to me in the preview, but oh my gosh, on the show, it's funny. But I think it has a lot to do with him throwing up in the knights in the armor.
Oh my gosh, that was just well, and I loved when Gallivant and Isabella are practicing.
Yeah,
I thought that whole scene, and they went into the '80s music and
yes.
everything.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I love that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
one
was
of my
really
favorites.
funny.
What else do you guys got?
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so
Awkward
funny.
silence.
Yeah, after awkward pause. What else you guys got?
I just think John Stamos' entrance in general, just when you look at his character and then he starts spouting off with the Yo Mama jokes, I was like, what
so
is
good.
even happening right now? Like, I don't know. This is great.
And then Rob says, that's John Stamos. I'm like, no way. I made him look it up and prove it to me.
Yeah,
Because
you know
he
what?
looked so different. And
And I'm not the one who usually spots
like you
people.
have, huh?
I'm not the one who usually spots people. You usually do.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, as soon as I saw him, it must be his eyes. I was just like, that's John Stamos. Like,
Because you love his dreamy eyes.
oh, I
With
find
the
him dreamy.
eyeliner.
Like
I
what
like-
happens with Mom and Gallivant.
Yeah, I like Gallivant.
I listen to him playing with the Beach Boys, and I look at his eyeliner.
Yeah, no.
No, not so much.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Come on, no.
So yeah, I think the casting, aside from the main casting, which was brilliant, I think the guest stars. I mean, you've got him, you've got Weird Al coming up, and like I'm just waiting
can't
for
wait.
this when Weird Al is on.
Yeah,
It's just really great casting all the way around. And Vinnie Jones,
yeah.
he's not a guest star. I got to bring him up again because he's
Just keep-
Juggernaut.
Periodically bring him up. Just
That's right.
What did you? Because he's Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Sugarnaut.
Juggernaut. Yep.
Not sugar, not.
So yeah, now you guys talk about the costumes a lot, and they are really great. Are there any costume standouts from these first couple episodes that you guys have?
All right, Mal, go for it.
Madeleina's.
Which one?
Her wedding dress.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
So her
Mine
wedding dress
too.
is really doing it for you.
Yeah, the other ones I didn't like her outfit.
I like a lot of them. I like most of them.
I didn't like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they didn't look queenly. They looked like normal people from
Really?
now.
Like what Mom wears around the house.
No.
I'm kind of queenly. Mm-hmm. And my sweatpants.
I was gonna say she's wearing sweat gowns and greasy hair. No offense,
That sounds gross.
No, my hair's I washed. No, I'm good today.
literal girl. Yeah. I actually, I mean, all the way around, I think the costumes are great. But once again, it's King Richard's.
Oh, thank you. Okay, that was mine too.
I just
he's
think his
fantastic.
costume is so good,
Yeah.
and the just everything about it is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poo, I got gravy on my tummy flowers.
Oh, tummy flowers. That's what he was saying. He wasn't manly, right?
Oh my gosh, the scene where they were teaching him when he was trying to be manly,
Oh my god.
and he's
yeah,
sitting
I
there.
burped.
Oh,
Did you whiff it?
what? What'd you
Because
say,
I
Mal?
burped. Did you whiff it?
Oh yeah, I mean, just so gross. But he was absolutely hysterical when he was sitting there trying to be, and he's like, "I'm drinking the ale out of the bottle," you know.
Uh-huh.
And it reminded me of the Cheers episode where Frasier was trying to be a bad boy, and he was running around the bar going, "I'm running with scissors,"
Yeah.
you know, and he was doing all kinds of things to try to be manly. It reminded me of that, but
Yeah.
I'm running with scissors.
yeah, he felt like that was a bad boy thing to do.
You know, that brings up a good one. If this had been 15 years ago, Kelsey Grammer would have been the king.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the type of humor, the type of acting.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you say it, it's like, oh, I'm surprised if they do a Gallivant 2, that's the guy you get.
Yes. Gallivant 2, please.
Yeah, that's the guy you get.
Oh, please.
So, okay, I told mine. Martha, you told yours. Olivia, you got a costume that you wanted to bring up? Anything special?
I would say King Richard because I mean, just his entire thing is just like this ridiculous, flamboyant, over the top, larger than life, like villain.
Oh yeah,
just everything about him, just strutting around on screen, just owning every bit of the costume they give him, and just every bit of dialogue. It's great to watch.
Yeah,
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
he's brilliant.
He's building a very memorable character.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm going to make a reference, unlike Palooka, that everybody understands.
Okay.
What?
I'm going to make a reference to something that I don't know if anybody else, even listening, is going to know what this is. But this show is reminding me of a show. It was very short-lived. I only saw it in reruns. I don't know if I was even alive when this was on. Mel Brooks had a show called When Things Were Rotten. And it was Robin Hood. It was so much like this, like the way the characters talk, the way the king is. It wasn't a musical, although I think there might have been one episode that had a musical number in it, but it just reminded me of this. Because, it was like after he had done Blazing Saddles and like in that time period, so he was writing these kind of parody type things, and he did one about Robin Hood, which was, in my recollection, way funnier than Robin Hood Men in Tights. I didn't think that was very funny. This show was funnier. And that's how, as I'm watching this, King Richard would have absolutely been a character on that. So that might be one to look up on YouTube and see if you can find, because it was a very funny show. And it was 60s Mel Brooks. It's not like it was one of the movies where you go, oh my gosh, the kids can't see it. This they would have been able to watch. But it was only on one season, I think.
And it was called what?
When Things Were Rotten.
Okay.
Now watch, I'm completely wrong, which anyone that listens to our podcast knows that I'm usually wrong about stuff, but I'm close enough. Mel Brooks, something rotten. And then you go like, oh yeah, there it is.
All right. I'm trying to think.
We have to type in something rotten.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, let's talk about the songs a little bit. So we talked about the crossbow one. I love first of all, the opening song is hysterical.
Yeah, the whole setup.
He said like with balls as big as tangerines or something.
Oh my god, that
he
line.
holds up these giant.
He said cojones, thank you. Miss 7-year-old who needs to be censored.
Right.
I thought you said that's what it meant.
It is what it means, but that.
Oh. Isn't cojones worse?
No.
Oh. Okay.
All right, moving right ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's the explicit rating right there. Okay.
We can edit that part out.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta pull it together. So, the Joust friends had my most favorite, which is what the podcast is named after. Maybe You're Not the Worst Thing Ever.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That song is hysterical. And then, but when they're doing You're Off on a Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
And the Squire and Isabella are going, no, pretty true.
Yeah.
More or less. Like every time he would sing something.
Pretty true, kind of true.
They'd be like, no, it's pretty true.
Yeah.
I thought that was just an hysterical scene.
I'm going to save Madalena, who is forced to marry King Richard. More like chose.
What?
No,
more like chose, yeah.
Not true, kind of true, pretty true.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very funny song. And I like the dynamic of those three.
Oh, yeah, very much. Very much. Well, once again, it's Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Unfortunately, Magnitude is Donkey, so.
Yes.
But yeah, it's they're very funny together. The singing is great too, and I mean, according to this, it's them doing the singing, which is nice. It's not some overdubbed, but it sounds like it's them doing it, and really excellent singers.
Well, and it's not too polished. It seems like that would just be how people would sound. Like it's not too fake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think that's why I kind of ripple at a lot of musicals. One is I don't understand when they just start singing at you. Number two,
Okay, except you live with me, and I live my life as a musical most of the time.
yeah,
How do
true.
you
And I
not
join in.
understand someone?
Well, I get it when in a musical though I get it when it moves the story forward. That's I don't have a problem with that. A lot of them don't really do that. It's just let's put in a song here and kind of make it fit.
Mhm.
The songs absolutely are tied to the story. They move things forward. So I'm liking that. They're funny. They're clever and well written. And yeah, there is that sense of not being that like even though it is very much Broadway. It doesn't have that polished Broadway
It's more
feel
raw.
to it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Even though when you really listen to it, you're like, no, it isn't. It's really well crafted.
Yeah.
But it's maybe a little bit more street level well crafted.
Uh-huh.
You know, when
Yeah.
they sing about cojones and things.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Mal? Yep.
Evil laugh.
Evil laugh.
Wah! No, that's not an evil laugh. This is an evil laugh. Wah, ha, ha, ha,
Oh,
ha.
that's even better.
Yeah.
And you have to do the hand motion.
Okay. Done.
What's the hand motion?
Yeah, you know what? It's showing up great on the
I
podcast.
can't
Explain it. Tell us what it is. I want to know what a hand
Like,
motion
Your
is.
hands.
It's like
going
she's
like-
conducting. It's like, oh, like you're bringing an orchestra up with your hands.
Ha 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 ha. Like
Get it?
that.
No, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I'm the one doing it.
So what else do we have to talk about with this? Anything?
Oh my gosh, when the king is getting fed at the table.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then
Here comes.
Oh, and it's so
the
embarrassing. She right in front of her that he's trying to impress, and he's like, it's like a little kid.
oh,
Oh, it's so funny.
and then he says after she gets up and leaves because she's disgusted, he says, "Never start a marriage with a kidnapping."
Can you both promise me that?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, so clever.
Oh, it's great.
So I guess that's it for this episode. We'll do a follow up. I guess we'll do what are there 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do 4 episodes. The next one we talk about, since we've already seen it, we can mention it. It's got a lot more of Sid's story,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It's
and then there were 2
hysterical.
parts. What was the other part? I remember Sid's story was one part.
And the
That
pirates.
happens-
Oh, the pirates! Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and once again, I can't think of his name. We'll talk about that on the next episode. But the actor playing the pirate that was
Oh,
really
Hugh
good.
Bonneville.
Yeah, Hugh Bonneville was the pirate. That's who it
Oh
was.
God, he was brilliant.
Oh, so funny.
He said that they met at the ladies' gathering or something.
You're right.
Oh, Lilith Fair! I
At
almost
Lilith
wet my
Fair.
pants.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Will-
I have never laughed so hard. I was like, he did not just say Lilith Fair on
Yes.
the Isle of Lesbos. I almost
Yes.
died. That's what I mean by, a lot of the humor can, it'll go over a lot of the kids' heads, but it's just brilliant. It's
Really
like
well
Sesame
done.
Street always did that, though.
I remember when Sesame Street did the Lesbos
They would have.
jokes. Yeah, sure.
There were a lot of things in that the kids wouldn't get.
Oscar the
They-
Grouch complaining about Lilith Fair. Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe I was reading a little too into
I think you
Sesame
might have
Street.
been.
Yeah. Oscar complaining about Lilith Fair? What?
So is that it? Can we wrap it up?
Yes.
I think that's it. Yeah.
On
All
that
right.
note, right?
I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find past episodes of this and all of our podcasts, all the ever afters, at our website, which is
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
yes. And we also have a new thing. We have a Patreon account. So if you go to the website and you want to support the show, you can click on the Patreon logo and you can donate to the show. And if we hit certain levels and if you donate a certain amount, we do some special things like extra episodes and such, and answering questions, stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. So if you're a fan of the show and you want to support us, it would be really appreciated. Once again, go to Patreon, just look up Ever After Podcast, or go to our website. You can just click on the logo. Find us on Twitter. You can find the Ever After Podcast at Ever After Pod. Martha, you tweet from,
At SMG Pods.
and Olivia.
I'm at Richards Olivia.
And Olivia, you also wrote for
It's not past tense.
Past
No.
tense, yes.
write for showratings.tv.
Yes.
And what shows do you review on there? Aside from Gallivant, possibly.
Yeah, I will be doing a write-up for Gallivant in the coming weeks. I'm right now doing Once Upon a Time, and in the summer, obviously our favorite of Under the Dome.
Our
yeah.
favorite.
All-time favorite.
We will be ready for that. We'll be
God,
Oh, yes. Well, I don't feel like I'm having any brain damage from Gallivant, but Under the Dome.
That's a different story.
Like he had brain damage. He admitted it on the podcast.
Yeah, it's damaging for sure.
You know what? Maybe they can make Under the Dome into a musical.
There you go.
Stop it. How great would that be?
He would get too much brain damage.
You know what?
Everybody would think he was sitting in front of the microwave too long.
Yeah, right. Here's what I want to see: Junior singing in every episode.
Well,
they don't
I'd
have to make it a musical. Only Junior breaks out in song.
I'd like to see Big Jim singing "I Wanna Shoot Him with a Crossbow."
Yes.
I think I would want to see everyone else singing and Big Jim just sitting in the back, like glaring at everyone.
Right, in his tight shirt.
Oh gosh. All right.
Since it's not Once Upon a Time, we're not going to end it the way every fairy tale ends. We'll end it the way a musical should end. Until next week.
Gallivant.
Dun dun dun. It needed a little something.
It did.